Hey friends, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Rachel. I'm a blogger and lover of all things cold brew, and this is the Cold Brew Chick YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be going over arguably the most popular cold brew method, the Toddy Cold Brew system. And to test it out, I'm going to be using Peet's Special Edition Ethiopian beans. So let's get into it. So a fun fact that a lot of people don't know about the Toddy Cold Brew system is that it's actually one of the original cold brew systems, and actually the oldest as well. It was first invented back in 1964, well before this cold brew trend ever even started. And what's really awesome about Toddy is that they actually funded a research study to help prove that cold brew has less acid than hot coffee. In the study, they found that it contains 64% less acid than a hot cup of coffee. So when we claim that cold brew has a lower acidity, we're right because we got the research to back it up, and it's thanks to these guys. So when you buy a Toddy coffee kit, it comes with 5 parts. You have the bucket, which is where your water and your beans are going to be held all together. You have a rubber stopper, which goes in the bottom to prevent any of the water from coming out during the steeping process. You have a felt filter. This is to help the water and beans separate when it's time to dilute and get the cold brew out of there. And then you have a glass pitcher to catch the cold brew and to maintain it when you're done, along with a stopper at the top to keep your cold brew fresh in the fridge. Now, you don't necessarily need this glass pitcher for the actual steeping process. As long as you have this rubber stopper in the bottom, you'll be fine. Trust me, no cold brew is going to get out of here once you got that rubber stopper in. So the Toddy Cold Brew Kit comes with a pre-recommended ratio of coffee beans to water. The one that we're using is the at-home kit, but there's also a larger one as well that's 5 gallons. You'll see this a lot in cafe shops and stores. That ratio is a bit different. The one for this one for at-home use is 7 cups of water to 12 ounces of coffee. You want to make sure that before you start any of this process that the rubber stopper is firmly in the bottom. That's step number 1. Second, you want to make sure that the filter that goes in at the bottom is wet. Just run it under a cold water spout and make sure that it's fully damp. Squeeze it a bit, and then you're going to shove it all the way at the bottom. There's a preset slit for it, so it fits right in there. Once that's all set up, then you can add your beans and your water and start the process. Then once it's time to pull, after 12 to 24 hours, depending on your preference, you want to pull out the rubber stopper at the bottom. But be careful, because once you pull out that rubber stopper, the cold brew is going to start coming out. So what I recommend to make this as less messy as possible is to pull out the rubber stopper over a sink to catch that little bit of cold brew that will come out, and then very quickly have your pitcher right next to it so you can go ahead and just pop it on. And you'll notice that the filter fits perfectly over the container, so as it drains, it's going to go into your pitcher and then it'll be all set. So if you do the recommended ratio that Toddy has of the 7 cups of water to 12 ounces of coffee, you're going to end up with a cold brew concentrate. This is nice because it allows you to customize your cold brew to make it either stronger or a little bit weaker depending on your preferences. Now, I specifically chose these beans to make a cold brew because this type of Ethiopian bean is a natural process, and the region that it came from, it's known to produce some really delicious blueberry notes. I had a coffee from this region, not necessarily from Peet, it was a different company, and it was one of the best coffees I'd ever had. It was so rich in blueberry, and so when I saw that Peet's was going to be making and providing that same coffee, I knew I had to try it in a cold brew form. What's really great about ordering from Peet's is that even though you could technically buy these beans in their store, if you order it online, they roast it fresh and deliver it that second. So I ordered it on Monday, and they roasted it on Wednesday and then delivered it within 2 days. So these beans were crazy fresh when I made them into a cold brew, which I think is really key. Anytime you make a cold brew, you want to use the freshest beans possible. So let's go ahead and try it and see if we get that same blueberry note that I'm just dying to have. No crazy smell I'm getting from it. It just smells like water, so no like aromatics or anything like that. Not necessarily a bad thing, but just something to take note. I think I watered it down too much. I'm going to add some more because I'm hardcore. Let's see. Darn. It's good. It's a really nice, rich, bold cold brew, but I don't taste any blueberry. It's funny, I actually taste a lot of chocolate, which is something that I normally don't taste in Ethiopian coffees. Ethiopian coffees are known for being a lot more brighter, more acidic, and getting some really like nice floral or even citrus notes in there. Something to note about this specific one is that it's a really dark roast, and this could be why we're not getting that blueberry flavor and kind of more of that chocolate boldness that I typically enjoy. I'm a little bummed I'm not getting the blueberry. And this, it could just be from the way that they roasted it, not necessarily from, you know, the cold brew process itself. As a cold brew, I would give it a 4 out of 5 because it is really good, and I really like the flavors I'm getting from it. I'm just bummed I'm not getting that blueberry flavor. I was pretty hyped up to taste it. Maybe I'll go ahead and try to get those beans that I did get that blueberry flavor from and kind of see if I can get it in a cold brew. But 4 out of 5. This is still available at peets.com or any Peet stores nationwide. I think they're nationwide. I would recommend drinking it as a hot coffee or a cold brew. Cold brew's pretty good. As a hot coffee, it was pretty good. Just keep in mind you may not get a blueberry flavor per se. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Don't forget, Cold Brew Chick is more than just a YouTube channel. I'm also a blogger, an Instagrammer, and a host of a weekly podcast. Check out the links to all my other platforms in the show notes below. Cheers!